Hi all, very warm welcome. This is Nilesh and I welcome you all on this webinar of pCloudy 6.0. Sorry for being a bit late. I'm still seeing the attendees are coming in, so we thought of waiting for a while so that everybody gets the webinar attended from the beginning. Anyways, let's begin the webinar. Before we start, I would just like to quickly introduce myself and also let you know some housekeeping rules here. I'm Nilesh. I head pre-sales at pCloudy. I'm associated with pCloudy since the inception of this company. I was wearing multiple hats at pCloudy, doing pretty much everything what is needed in the organization, but primarily I'm looking into pre-sales since 5 years now. And yeah, I'll be your host today. I'll be walking you through the new features which we are releasing at pCloudy in 6.0 release. And this webinar will be for close to an hour. I certainly want this webinar to be an interactive one so that you guys can ask me the questions and I can answer those questions. But for the sake of some good reasons, we will not be able to make it an interactive one, wherein you will not be able to ask me the questions on the fly. We have kept all the participants on mute. So during this webinar, if you have any questions or any queries, I will request you to use the webinar window which is appearing on your screen and write the questions there, and we will take those questions towards the end. All right. So I again want to welcome all of you here for this webinar, and we'll quickly move on to the next slide of the agenda, what we are planning to showcase you in pCloudy 6.0. All right, and as all the webinars are, this webinar is also getting recorded, so you will definitely get a recorded copy of this webinar. So let's move on to the next slide, and let's start with the agenda. Let's see what exactly we have in the store today. All right, so as I mentioned, the Q&A question will be towards the end, right? We will start with the introduction. I'm sure a lot of participants which I'm seeing here is from the existing pCloudy customer base, so they might be knowing about the pCloudy, but there are a few more customers, some more participants who are actually coming first time here to see about and to hear about pCloudy. So for their benefit, we will quickly have an introduction about pCloudy, what exactly pCloudy does, what we are, and what services we provide, and then we will see the pCloudy 6.0 overview, what new features we are bringing in 6.0 this year, followed by Q&A. Right? So during the webinar, as I mentioned, if you have any questions, please feel free to note it down or put it on the questions tab, and we will take those questions towards the end of the webinar. All right, so keeping this webinar as generic as possible, we would be quickly giving a brief about pCloudy, right, for the benefit of all, and typically for the new participants who are joining the pCloudy webinar for the first time. So let's quickly check what is pCloudy, right? So pCloudy is a continuous testing cloud. That's what we call it. It's a comprehensive solution to speed up your testing and reduce the time to market your application. There is no more just, or pCloudy for that matter is not just a mobile device cloud as it used to be a few years back. Today, pCloudy provides a variety of features which makes this cloud truly continuous testing cloud. In a true sense, it makes a continuous testing cloud. The important features, if you really look at it, I mean, on the slide which you are seeing, there are multiple features with which we are making this as a unique continuous testing cloud. Of course, we have a whole lot of features which I cannot talk here on the slide, but the very important features because of which we can say that this is a continuous testing cloud platform. And one and the foremost out of this is the device cloud, the real device cloud, right? it provides you the real mobile physical devices remotely available, which can be used for either doing a manual testing or the automation testing, of course, remotely. The browser cloud, on variety of platforms, you can actually test your uh, desktop web applications on different browsers, right? So when I say variety of platforms, you can actually test your applications on Windows platform, Windows 10 or Windows 8. You can test your applications on Mac platform, and you can also test your applications on a variety of browsers on that. Like, you can use it Chrome, on Safari, on Edge, on Firefox, with different versions of these browsers. You don't have to really worry. By meaning of device cloud and browser cloud, here we are providing you the right infrastructure remotely available, so you don't have to really manage those infrastructures, right? This is what we are talking about here from the device cloud and the browser cloud perspective. The next one is rapid automation. Now, if you really look at it, automation is the key in today's world. The whole industry is moving towards the left shift approach or the agile approach, right? And when we are working in agile or working with the left shift approach, the key thing is the automation. The testing has to be done quickly. The testing has to shift towards the left, right? So you have to make sure that all the tests, whatever you are doing, has to be done regularly, and then it has to be automated. So creating the automation test assets, creating the test automation cases quickly is the key in today's world. On top of that, we are also having DevOps, right? So you have to make sure that you create the test automations very quickly. Now, how do pCloudy support here? By saying rapid automation, we have few features available which will help you expedite your automation test asset creation, right? We have something called record and play feature, separate product in itself, which will help you to create the automation test cases very quickly without writing single line of code. Simply by recording the workflow, your test cases will be ready, which you can run on multiple devices, of course. We also provide some in-house features with this product, which will help you to create the automation fast. In the sense, we provide you the inspectors, which will help you to inspect the elements of your application, be it mobile applications or in the mobile application, be it Android or iOS, you will be able to inspect the elements from there, and we provide the XPaths and the other selectors. So you can just copy those selectors from there and put it in your code if you want to write the code from the scratch on your own, right? Be it Java, be it Ruby or Python, whatever language you are using, but the selectors will remain same. So you can copy those selectors from pCloudy. So this way we help the test engineers to create the automation quickly. We also have the automation execution at scale. Now, simply by having the automation ready doesn't make any sense, or rather much sense, I must say, because if you have a whole lot of automation, and let's say the typical industry which I'm seeing and which I'm interacting with the customers, they have the automation test cases ready, and their regression pipelines are running for minimum 4 hours to 8 hours, or even sometimes 10 hours, right? Now, every day, if you are doing the test, or for every release you want to do the test, running 8 hours or 10 hours of regression will definitely be a killing thing. It will take such a long time, and if there are certain issues, again, you will be spending too much of time. So if you want to reduce the execution time, which should be the key focus for all our automation test engineering teams, so how do you do that? You will have to run the tests on multiple devices. You'll have to run the tests in parallel. You'll have to create Selenium grid, you'll have to create IPM grids, and so on, right? You'll have to manage such devices to perform these things, right? Now, pCloudy provides the automation execution at scale, the capability in itself, which will help you to run the automation parallelly at a scale wherein you can reduce total execution time to maybe 50% or even less, depending on how many devices you configure. So more number of devices you configure, more number of tests you configure on those such devices, the parallel execution will keep on happening by reducing your total execution time. That's one of the key factor wherein pCloudy is widely used among the testing teams in the industry. Apart from this, test analytics. Now, test analytics is the key to debug. You know, if you get the proper analytics, if you get the proper statistics from your testing sessions, you will be able to analyze the results properly. You'll be able to debug the results properly, and you will be able to localize the defects quickly, right? So right analytics is something which pCloudy provides at pCloudy, and also DevOps. Now, no application development or testing is complete without DevOps story. Most of the enterprises, every enterprises or most of the enterprises we are seeing, the DevOps is there. The total DevOps environment is pretty much there. So pCloudy fits in any DevOps environment seamlessly. So with this thing, with this 6 pride pillars, we can say that pCloudy is a continuous testing platform which will help you uh, speed up your testing and reduce the time to market for your application. Moving on to the next slide, which will not take more than a few seconds. This is, I mean, one of the biggest achievement we have witnessed recently is to be featured on 2020 Gartner report. And apart from this big achievement, we are also highly recognized and recommended on G2 Crowd. Some badges that we have consistently won quarter after quarter are momentum leaders, best return on investments, easiest setup, high performers, and so on. We are also proud of the many partners and clients we are serving across the globe, making us a true global competitor in the testing space. Having said that, let's not wait here and let's not spend too much of time here. Now let's move on to the next slide to see the latest updates which we have in the store for all of you. Let's go to the next page to see what exactly we have in pCloudy 6.0. All right, so here is a brief overview of the latest features and upgrades which we have made on this particular platform with 6.0. Those who are using pCloudy since long, maybe from more than 2 years or so, some of these are not some. Just one of these will be a known feature. I'll talk about that a little later, but if you really look at the list here, we have few things which I will be talking about, which we are proudly releasing in 6.0. That is the progressive report, which is a detailed reporting things. We have follow me, we have enterprise dashboard, Japanese language integration, and much more. We will be talking about this in detail. Okay, we also have I'll see if time permits, we will try to see some of the features if we can show live. Otherwise, we can always use the slides to look at these features. Okay, let me just move on to the progressive reports and see what exactly we have in store for progressive report. Okay, so as I mentioned in the earlier slide, test analytics is the key for debugging, right? And I believe you all will agree to it. So progressive report is a milestone from pCloudy, which will help you provide the right information to get much insights of your testing sessions, whatever testing you're doing, right? So that's what you are going to get it. So if you really look at it, if you really look at the slide, we are saying that we will provide you a whole lot of information, but from what we are currently providing, right? So we provide you, we'll be providing you the real-time status of various testing statistics, logs, videos, and a few more statistics. Okay, so when you use the progressive report in your testing, right, you will have to, of course, now this progressive report is supported for the automation. So when you are running your automation test scripts in Selenium or APM, you can use certain capabilities. You will have to enable this particular progressive report using certain capabilities, and then it's just 6 lines of code wherein you'll have to just say that you want to use the progressive reports and generate the progressive reports, and then the videos for that, logs for that, and with that you should be able to get the progressive report on your reports once your execution of the tests are done. And this is how the progressive report will look like. Here you can see the details about your live sessions, like how many total tests are there. If you can see total number of tests, how many are completed, how many are in progress, how many are pass, fail, and so on, with the total status, and then of course the current status of that. You will see the build name, whatever you are setting it from your capabilities. All that information will be coming here. So now you're not going to lose any data. You can always look for or search for a specific report from your test execution. Now we're not stopping it here. If you just see the next slide here, when I click on any of the tests, you have seen there were 2 tests here, right? There are 2 tests here. So if I click on one of the tests, you will see the details about that particular test. In this test, you're going to see the total status of that particular test alone. See, in a test suite, there could be 100 tests, right? So each test case, you can go and open and check whether that test case is passed, how much time it took to execute that particular test, on which device it got tested, what was the name of the user who triggered this test, from which account, the session ID of that particular thing, which can be used for sharing with your teammates or with your different developers. When it was done, which device it was executed on, and then whether you have used the local site testing, which is basically for doing your staging servers tests. We also provide you the detailed information about the different logs. You can see the test logs here, you can see the device logs, you can see the APM logs, and you can also see the app profiling. When I say app profiling, you are going to get to see the performance of your application in terms of CPU, memory, and battery consumption during this test run, during this specific test run. Okay, so if I just click one more here, you can see the app profiling. This is how you're going to see it. You're going to see the CPU chart, memory chart, the network chart, so on, for a given test case or given test flow, right? This is test. For this test, some specific flow has done, and for during that flow, this is how the CPU consumption was. And for this test alone, you can see the video, right? So you don't have to struggle now if you are running 100 test cases. Earlier, we were providing you a combined video, which will have all 100 test cases. So if the 10th test case is failing, you will struggle to go to that particular video because you don't know where the test case is starting, where the test case is ending. So in order to give the proper debugging, what we have done now is we have captured the videos for every test. Okay, and for every test, you can go and check, okay, let's say this test case is failed. Where the test case is failed, you can always go to the logs and see the failures, or you can also see from the video where the test case is failed. You can also see for which screen or which activity the CPU has gone up. So this is what the progressive reports which we are releasing in 6.0. Now this will be available to public cloud customers as well. Moving on to the next slide, which is follow me. As I mentioned some time back, follow me is not new to pCloudy and some of the users who are part of this particular webinar. Some of you have already used follow me in pCloudy. So we have received a lot of appreciation, of course, when we released follow me earlier, and we also received a good amount of feedback on this particular feature. It was not that stable. So with 6.0, we have made Follow Me more stable and more final version of the old Follow Me. For those who do not know what Follow Me is, it's basically a manual synchronization testing on 2 devices at a time. Typically, let's say you have a specific scenario. Let's say I want to run 10 scenarios. Now each scenario takes maybe 2 minutes for me to execute on one phone, and there are 10 scenarios. So I'll be spending 20 minutes on one device to perform those 10 scenarios. Now once I'm done with the testing on, let's say, OnePlus, right? Now same scenarios, if I have to execute manually on the uh, Samsung devices, because I'm also looking at the UI of the particular device, I'll be spending another 20 minutes and so on. So number of devices into 20 minutes is what the total time I'm going to consume if I have to perform such test those many scenarios. So by means of synchronous mode testing with Follow Me, what we do here is basically we provide you 2 devices. So user can choose 2 devices of his or her choice and select one of the devices master, the other device is a secondary device, and they have to instrument their application. Once they instrument that application and they select that application will get installed on both devices parallelly. And now I, as a user, have test only on one device. I can test on master, and whatever actions I'm performing on this device will get replicated on this device as well automatically. So this is going to save pretty much close to 50% of your time. If you have to do the testing on 2 devices earlier manually, if I'm doing on pCloudy as well, with one device connected first and the second device connected next, I will be spending 20 minutes. But with Follow Me, I will be doing the testing in just 20 minutes. So I'm going to save pretty much 50% if Follow Me is used. So this is a very useful feature, and even today we are proud to say that we are the only platform which is providing Follow Me kind of feature in the mobility space. I'm sure the users who are attending this will definitely explore this and will start using this the way it was earlier. Moving on to the next feature, which is available in 6.0, is enterprise dashboard. The enterprise dashboard is is a must. I must say it's a must, and it was much needed, absolutely new feature to cater the requirements from enterprise management users. Right now, all the features, whatever I'm showcasing it here, is not something which is available for public cloud. As you all know, that we have 3 different offerings. We have public cloud, we have private cloud, and on-premise cloud. So the features will be a combination. You know, the enterprise dashboard will typically go with the private and the on-premise cloud. It may not be available for the public cloud. For public cloud, it will be a stripped down version, not the full-fledged version here because of the complexities there. All right, but yeah, if you really look at it from the enterprise's point of view, which mostly will be using the private or the on-premise cloud, for them it makes perfect sense. And this was the management users from the enterprises which were actually looking for such kind of features which we have got from so many customers, and we started implementing that. And with this enterprise dashboard first version in 6.0, the users are really happy. So often there is a need to monitor the productivity of the teams. From the enterprise management user perspective, if you really look at it, if they're opting for a cloud and the users are using that cloud, it is clueless which user is using what, when, whether the device cloud is properly used. So management will not have the right insights if such kind of dashboards are not provided. So this dashboard is providing the right information, right insights to all these users, the management users typically, I must say. With this feature, the project or the program manager can get the insights of all the key aspects, like to begin with, the dashboard will look something like this, wherein you can see total how many users are there actively working in this particular cloud or on this particular cloud from this team. How many total teams are created from these 14 users? There are total 6 teams. How many devices? What is the device configuration you have? Like, you have 3 Android devices, 2 iOS devices, 2 browsers. All that information will be available here, including total sessions, how many total sessions so far is executed on this particular platform, how many total concurrent sessions are done, which are the last 10 say runs which is done. And on top of that, it is not the data which you can get it right from the beginning. You can customize. If I want to see last 15 days data, last 1 month data, last 2 months data, a quarterly data, I can actually figure it out from setting this date filter from here, right? If I move on to the next slide, the next window, you can see here, we will also provide you the most used or the least used devices on the browser. So from these graphs, you can see which devices are most used, how many devices are mostly used. And again, you can actually select the devices, you can select the browsers, you can select the time frames from here, and you can see what is the device uptime. Now that's what something which is needed from the management side to understand if this cloud or this continuous testing cloud is indeed a cloud. Yeah, because when we talk about cloud, we always measure the cloud performance in the way it is provided the service from the device uptime point of view, right? If it is having 50% uptime, it's not a good platform. If it's 100%, which is ideal, but 99.9% is what everybody talks about. So that's what you can get it. Which device was up for how long? That information you can get it here. Since the day you plug in that particular device, from that time till whenever you are fetching this report, what was the uptime? So all that information can be found it from here, which will be used by the management teams pretty nicely. And of course, the device usage, whether it is mobile device or the browser, desktop browser, they can actually select and they can see, okay, now Samsung Galaxy S10 was used for 988 minutes, and this was the location. So you can also go and select the dates which you want for your reports. Lastly, we also provide you the device availability in case somebody wants to go and check how many devices are currently available and how many devices are busy at this moment or in use at this moment. They can actually go get this information from here. They can have multiple configurations. They can select only Android, only iOS, or they can have both, something like that. Team-wise device usage, how many teams are using the devices, and per team total usage, that can be figured it out. Then there is a percentage spread across all the different teams, right? All that things are pretty much available here. And of course, we are also providing you the manual versus automation device level data. Yeah, so how many devices or how many sessions were used for manual, and how much device percentage was used for the automation. So this will definitely help the enterprise management customers or users to take the right steps, either to increase the device cloud, or take out certain devices which are not used and increase the devices which are widely used, and focus on more on automation or manual depending on uh, their goal. Yeah. After the enterprise dashboard, we'll move on to the next feature, which is basically the enterprise team management. Uh, Enterprise team management is another new feature which is focused on the enterprise customers, as I mentioned earlier. Now, enterprises are, if you really look at it, working on different projects and different teams these days. They want teams to be managed centrally. They do not want uh, the control of the devices or the data or the artifacts with the team members, right? If There are bigger organizations, bigger enterprises. They do not want that to happen with the individual user. So what they have is basically either a cloud uh, administrator or the project managers or the project leads. They will be responsible for managing the teams, right? So with this enterprise management feature, uh, the project managers are the users with uh, right privilege. We have three different kinds of users. So the user with the highest privilege can actually create multiple teams. They can create the teams based on the projects. They can create the teams for different projects alone, or within the projects they can create multiple teams. They can create decentralized resource management. They can create decentralized uh, data repository, yeah, in order to avoid every individual users to upload the data or download the data from the data security perspective, right? So let's see how it looks. Uh, this is the project-based teams, right? So one can actually create the teams. Here you can see if uh, the privileged user goes to team management, this is a separate portal within pCloudy which provides you the team management activities. So go to the team management, click on create teams, and then it will create a team of your choice. You can give whatever name you want to the team. So right now there are 4 teams. When I create teams, we have created some for this particular session. You can see there is something called iOS, right? Now, this is the new team which is created, and with for every team you can assign a specific number of devices. Like if you can read this, for every team there is a count here, device count. It means now iOS team which I have created have 5 devices. So 5 devices are allocated to this particular team, and then they have uploaded certain apps. So 7 apps are uploaded for this particular team. So any team member from this iOS team can access these 7 applications, whatever is uploaded there, and they can see only 5 devices. These 5 devices, whatever is mentioned there, right? Rest of the other teams, let's say there is one more Android team and there are 32 applications there, right? Now, if the iOS application team member goes to pCloudy and try to look for the applications, he or she will have visibility to only the 7 applications. They cannot see this remaining 32 or rest of the other applications. And same thing with the devices, right? So that's what is the enterprise team management here. So when I move on to the next slide, you can see here for iOS we have restricted or given the visibility for 5 devices. So only 5 devices will be shown here. Now let's say there is a device cloud of 50 devices. I have 50 devices available on my cloud, and I do not certainly want all those 50 devices to be seen by all my team members, because I have variety of team members. I have, let's say, 5 different teams. I don't want all the teams to see all those 50 devices. I want to restrict. I want only 5 devices, these 5 devices to be seen by a specific iOS team or functional testing team. So I can actually do that. Even if there are 50 devices, this particular team will see only 5 devices. Okay, so this is one of the things which we have here, and we also have something called centralized data repository or the artifacts. So from all reports, as I said, this is the repository where you can go and select the team. If I'm part of only one team, I will see this team. And if the super privileged customer user can go and check multiple teams. So if that specific team is selected, for that particular team, you are going to see the whole reports. Okay, so this way, this enterprise team management will provide you the centralized repository for the data, for the artifacts, for the teams and the team members, and of course the devices. Moving on to the next slide, which is about the MP4 video format. Now, we know that this is not a big feature. I don't think it's a big feature in any ways. We were earlier providing the FLV format. If you have used pCloudy, you would have noticed that we were providing the session video in FLV format. Nothing wrong in that, but the video size was pretty big. So if you're doing a video for testing for 10 minutes also, this video size was to be very huge, and then it's very difficult to download that particular video and share or attach with the emails. So, and there are certain enterprise customers who do not even support FLV. They have the standard uh, players which supports only MP4. So we also wanted to move to MP4 in order to have the uh, uh, right videos available with pCloudy, which will provide you the good quality videos, and I'll also have the right compression, which will reduce the size of that video. So now with the MP4 support, we have removed the FLV and provided the MP4, which will help you to quickly download the video if needed, and then you can also attach it with your uh, emails or whatever collaboration tools you are using. This is a very small but still yet useful feature we have. Next one is about Japanese language. Now, Japanese language integration here is another client-specific request which we have fulfilled recently. With this, in a true sense, pCloudy becomes a global platform. Right? We have a customer from Japan who wants to serve exclusive Japanese customers, exclusive Japanese-based customers there, right? And they do not want uh, the UI to be seen in English. They want to be absolutely localized in their as per their local language, right? So they want it in Japanese UI, Japanese language, and we have put in efforts there to make it seen in the Japanese language. So with this, uh, we have with this delivered successfully, we are pretty confident. We are aiming to fulfill the request for other markets too, if needed by the customers. Yeah. So now, right now, if you see, we have two different languages supported for pCloudy. One is English by default, as you are seeing it here, and you can see here we have the option to select. It's not available on the public cloud. Don't try it on public cloud. It's there on the private cloud if you configure it. But you can see here, you will see English, and then there is Japanese. So if I click on Japan, you will see the whole UI changed into Japanese language. Right? So this is one of the key addition of the support which we have provided on pCloudy. The next one is about new devices. Now, this is not a feature, I will say. This is not a feature. This is the continuous improvements at pCloudy. We want to grow, and pCloudy is growing horizontally. So pCloudy is always starting to increase the device count and data centers so that every user gets better test coverage from different regions, different devices, different uh, specifications, right? So with this, we have actually added close to 43 devices in a newly launched data center from Mumbai, which is in India. And we are also starting our Singapore data center. The data center is pretty much the devices are getting plugged in there, and very soon you will start seeing the devices from the Singapore data center as well. So with this, I would like to take a pause and move on to the next part. I just wanted to quickly check we are okay, 10 minutes left. So I would like to take 5 minutes of your time first to show you quickly how the progressive report looks from the platform. We don't have much more time to go through each and every feature, and I cannot certainly show each and every feature here because, as I mentioned, it's a combination of public and private cloud. But I'll just show one feature quickly from here, and then we will move on to the Q&A session. Okay. So let me just come here. Okay. So for those who are seeing it first time, this is how pCloudy will look like. This is the device page where you will see the list of devices. These are all real physical devices. And I'm not running, in the interest of time, I'm not running the test here. I have run the automation test in APM on a couple of mobile devices. And when I go to the reports folder, I can actually go to all reports section here. If I click on all reports section, this is a place where you will see the whole list of reports, be it for manual testing, for automation testing, and so on. And from there, you can actually open the dashboard for the progressive report. Yeah. Now, of course, I cannot see the live reporting here because the sessions are already done. But when you are running the tests, you can also see the live sessions. It may take a while because I have got a lot of reports here. Yeah, you can see now. This is the automation report. This is one which I have done recently. So if I click on this middle button, which is basically saying, talking about the progressive report, if I click on this is how the dashboard will open here, where you can see the dashboard about the progressive report, right? If I go to this, since this particular testing is already done for this project, and this is the ID, okay, and this is the build name. You can configure all this through the capabilities. You can configure the application, uh, the name of the build, right? The ID will be automatically generated, and the project name you can provide what is that you wanted to uh, uh, do. The overall status, uh, what time it started, how many total test cases are there, how many pass, how many fail. You can also manage this by deleting this. So let's go inside. Once you go inside, you will see for this particular demonstration how many total tests were done. Okay, now let's say this is completed. You can see the detailed information about this thing, but let's say I want to see why this test case is failed or where the test case is failed. So I can just click on the failed test case and I can go to the individual test case to see the detailed report. Not take too much time. Okay, let's say this is how it will. This is how it is. It will look like. So you will see the failed test cases, how long it took to execute. You know who has run which platform and so on. And these are the logs which I was talking about. So you can see the text logs, you can see the device logs. You can leave it here itself, or you can download it. Of course, if you want, you can download it also. But otherwise, you can see the whole logs from here, and you can see what went wrong. You can go to the APM logs. You can see the APM logs from here, right? If you just click on this, you can see the APM logs from here, and then you can see where the execution failed, what was the issue. You can go to the app profiling. For me, because it ran only for 13 seconds, capture that, but you can see the CPU or memory or chart here accordingly, and you can also see the video here, right? So this is a 15 seconds video which is generated. So you can just play a video and then you can see the video. Whatever has happened during this test, you can actually monitor it from here. So this is what I wanted to quickly showcase, that it is a working one. This is what we have already released to specific group of customers. Okay, this is one thing. We still have 5 more minutes. Let me just quickly see if I can showcase you this. If I go to the devices, and let me just go to devices.com one more time quickly. As I mentioned, the follow me feature, this is for the audience who are coming first time on pCloudy, for them to understand what exactly we have with follow me. So you'll have to upload the application, whichever application you want to test right now. And then you can just go to the options here and click on follow me. So this will instrument the application, and this application will be available here, which with the follow me as an appended string here. This is what you will have to use it for your testing. So I'm just going here, I'm going to follow me, and in follow me you can go and choose that particular application which I have just instrumented, right, or which we have instrumented for follow me. So this is what the application is. Then you can go and select the time for how long duration you want this particular feature to be used. Go to the next and select the list of devices two devices from this list here, right? So we can maximum go and select two devices. So let's say I want this device, and I just go here and say, let's say A50. Okay, so I've selected two devices, and I say next. These are the two devices which I have selected. I'm just need to go and select one of the devices, master device, as I mentioned, and say start session. What it will do is basically it will connect two devices next to each other. One of the device will act as master, as I mentioned. The other one will be the secondary device, and the same application which I have selected will get installed on both the devices. Okay, let me just close this and this. Yeah, so on this master device, this already got installed. This is yet to get installed, might be getting installed now. So this is the way you can actually go and perform the test. Now you cannot use rest of the other features which we provide. You can simply use the screenshots in case you want to capture the screenshots for both the devices. Screenshots will be captured, or you can use the soft keys. Let me see why this application is not launched, whether it is there and it did not get launched. Let me just check. I can interact with both the devices individually if I want, or I should be simply installing the application, which even unfortunately did not. Yeah, you see that application, it was slow. So this is also one thing which you can notice it here, because both the devices, though it is from Samsung, this is having a different configuration, right? So because of the hardware specifications, all the software specifications, you can also see the slowness of the device as compared to these two. So this took really long time as compared to this. This was pretty much fast. Now you can see both the screens are same on both the devices. Now if I'm not interacting with this device on the second. I'll be interacting only with the primary device, the master device. I'm just clicking on setup later. When I click on setup later, this has gone inside, and you see the same action is performed on the other device automatically, right? If I'm just going to, for example, the next tab here, and it shows me all popular, the same thing is being displayed there. If I'm just going to kids, for example, here, the same action will be performed on the other devices as well. So this is what the follow me feature is. This is for the audience who are seeing it first time. I'm sure you will enjoy this feature testing. I can capture the screenshot. It will capture the screenshot for both the devices, which I can later compare if I feel any issues with the screens. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to showcase you today as a part of our webinar. So let's move on to the Q&A session now. If you have any questions, you guys can shoot the questions to me, and I'll try answering those questions. I know we are running short of time. We have just 5 minutes left, so I will not be able to perhaps take all the questions. I'll try to see how many questions I can accommodate today. If I'm not able to answer your questions now, I promise you to answer those questions one-on-one. Okay, let's see. Questions. All right, so first question is from Ashwin. And Ashwin is asking, the dashboard feature is awesome, thank you. Can I customize the dashboard in order to create my custom reports? Ashwin, I'm not very sure what exactly customization you're talking about, but yeah, currently the customization is not available with pCloudy. The reports, whatever you are seeing or whatever I have shown, those reports will be displayed. But if you need any further customizations, we do have that in our roadmap. Currently, it is not there. It also depends what customizations you are looking for, but we certainly want to add a few customizations wherein user can choose what are all things or what are all components he or she wants to generate as a part of their custom reports. So currently it is not there, unfortunately, because this is the first version. In the upcoming versions, definitely we will have customized reports. I hope you're okay with this answer. All right. Oh, questions are coming in. Let me just increase this size so I can read the questions in one single shot correctly. Just give me a moment. Uh, questions, questions. Okay. There is a question why I'm not able to get the name of the. Okay, so there is a question. I'm not able to figure it out. The name of the uh, person who is asking this question, but the question is for the primary and the secondary feature, can it work for automation too for multiple devices? Okay, so the whole idea about the uh, follow me is to use it in manual testing, right? Because manually we cannot do the testing on multiple devices parallelly, right? That's the reason we have got this particular uh, feature. Now, when you are asking about the automation, so in automation, you don't have to use pCloudy. You can pretty much run the automation on multiple devices parallelly, and you can run it on more than 2 devices. If you want to run the same test on 5, 6, or 10 devices, you can do that. If you're using either Selenium or APM, you can use that. Okay, so this particular feature we are using only for the manual testing. Okay, what's the problem here? Okay, seeing the other page. All right, so I think this question was more from Jonathan. Yeah, Jonathan. I hope I have answered your question, right? There is one more question from Jimit. Follow me feature can run automatic test on master devices and get results on multiple slave devices at the same time. I believe this is the question in the similar lines as Jonathan asked. This is, as I mentioned, this is for the manual testing. So don't get confused. If you want to achieve this, whatever you are talking about, that you can pretty much achieve using automation. If you have the automation tests ready, you can run the automation test on multiple devices parallelly. You don't have to rely on follow me for that. I hope I've answered your question, Jimmy. Okay, I believe a lot of questions are there from the follow me side. Okay, I'll take one more follow me question and then I'll move on to the next questions. Um, John is asking when this feature will be released. So, John, is this feature is already released in the public cloud. It's not for the private and on-premise yet, but this is already released for the public cloud. You can always use this from the public cloud of pCloudy. Of course, for the private and on-premise cloud, we can release it on demand, but currently it is available for the public cloud. I hope I have answered your question, Jonas. Next question is from Matthew. Now, can pCloudy be used in CI/CD with Azure DevOps? Yeah, Matthew, we can actually use pCloudy in CI/CD with Azure DevOps as well. We have customers who are using with Azure DevOps. We have customers who are using with AWS and also on the local clouds. So you can pretty much use it with Azure DevOps. Okay. The next question, let me just quickly check the time. Yeah, so we have overshot by 1 minute. So there are a few more questions. I'll not be able to answer all the questions here. I'll just take one last question now, and remaining questions I will answer personally. Uh, okay, there is a question from Martin. I'm looking for similar solution, but have some specific need, right? My test environment is not exposed to the public environment, and I have CI/CD set up. Can I run my tests on pCloudy from my CI/CD? Uh, Martin, yes, you can pretty much do this. There are a lot of customers who are using it. Most of the organizations will have their CI/CD and CI/CD environment set up within either their organization or it might be on the cloud somewhere. But they have the restricted environment, test environments, which is available only in their premises or on a specific network. So even if you're using the public cloud or private cloud from pCloudy, you can uh, run your tests on pCloudy devices. If you're using private cloud, you can pretty much have the VPN tunnel in order to save some time. You can straight away have a VPN tunnel between pCloudy private cloud and your test machines on CI/CD setup. Or if you're using a public cloud, then we have a feature called WildNet, which can be used in order to create a temporary reverse tunnel, which will help you route all the requests from the device to your local environment on your test machines. But all in all, yes, this can be achieved. I will pass on your details to my sales folks. They will have a separate call with you, and perhaps we can have a dedicated discussion on this, Martin. I hope I have answered your question. Um, yeah, with this, I would like to take a pause and thank you each one of you for taking out time to participate in this webinar, guys. Uh, Thank you so much. You guys have a good time. Take care. God bless you. Bye-bye.